Hi, I'm Barbara Emodi, the author of Sew the Garment Making Book of Knowledge, and I want to show you a very easy way of overcoming phobia you might have about putting in zippers. A lot of people, for example, I have a sister who's a beautiful sewer, gets so stressed when it is time to put in a zipper. There's top stitching that shows. It's a pain because it's right at the end of the project, and when you're running out of steam and you might feel every time you have to rip it out and redo it, the stitches get worse. And this is a way of having complete control putting in a zipper. A way of feeling completely relaxed while you're doing it and knowing that it will turn out right every time. It also is very strong. It's deceptive that way, and I want to show you the method that I don't use for every garment, but I certainly use in anytime I'm worried about my zipper. For example, putting in a zipper in velvet or velveteen or silk dupioni or satin. Satin's a really good one, where you really want to put the zipper in nicely, but you don't want to risk having any crooked stitches. Very simple to do. The prep is you sew your seam up to where the zipper starts, then you leave it open from then on. Both sides, you fold it under and press it 5/8 of an inch. This is simple. I've done one side of this, I'll do the other in a contrasting thread. You then take the one side of the zipper at a time, you lay it so that fold, see, is right in the middle of the teeth. Right in the middle of the teeth. And you pin it down, and then you sew a tiny, tiny little back stitch. Very almost meditative to do. And this, I want you to look at those stitches. This is what you see from the right side. Not a lot, is it? So when you've done that one side and actually showing you something and saying, see, isn't this invisible, is not incredibly educational. So I'm going to do it on the other side with a contrasting thread. So I've done one side, I'd bring this around, and then because I've done that, I see this is so easy because you could keep fixing it up until it's right. So then I'm just butting the remaining folded edge of the fabric next to what I've already done. Also, you don't need to worry about going around the zipper tape because you have more control with hands than with machines. That's all I do. I have a thread here. I'm going to go behind. Now, my apologies. World's hottest day, and I am working on a fine linen, which of course with my hands is going to crease. Didn't think of that. Okay, so I bring the thread up, and then see I'm putting the needle right behind where I brought the thread up. And bring it through, just let the needle rock through. It'll be about 1/4 of an inch. See? So I brought the needle up, just put it a tiny bit behind. And of course, if you make a mistake or if it goes crooked, it's one little hand stitch, easy to undo, and you can, don't you wish you could do that with a machine, that you could just stop and take out one crooked stitch and continue uninterrupted? So see, I'm just this is so relaxing. The whole day I spent with a 3-year-old, a 6-year-old, and an 8-year-old breaking up fights because they were all hot. And it is so nice to sit down and just do this. I could actually put these in all evening now. Okay, so see how that looks? Even with a contrasting thread. This is rightly called a prick stitch. Don't need to be a genius to figure that out. It's a variation of a back stitch. And that's it. Nothing couldn't go wrong. Now, I'm just going to cut the thread so I can show you what you would do. You're probably going to worry, you say, that's not going to be strong enough. So we'll go back to the side that I have stitched by hand. And because it's a back stitch, you have not just gone over and under like a running stitch. You've gone up and you're back. You've in fact made a knot, a tiny knot with every stitch. You know how at the beginning of a sewing machine seam, you go forward and backwards, just to seal the seams at either end? That's what this is. It's very strong. This is not going to go anywhere. But if you are a worrier, what you can do, I'll show you what this is like on the other side. See, that's what it looks like on the other side. Just little wee, that's all that shows, right? And each of these was a little backstitch. You can, if you're worried about security, or if it's in a really fitted dress and you think there could be some strain on it, you would take just the seam allowance and that tape, and you could run a line of machine stitches down there, and that would make this last longer than the fabric would. So what I want to do, or if you're sitting down and don't want to get up and go to your machine and you want to secure it again, I don't always do this, but you can. I don't always worry. I don't worry much with my sewing. You can just by hand do a real back stitch, which is actually putting it up and going right back. In fact, rather than stepping it back a little way, you're actually bringing the needle right back, not just behind where the needle came up, but right back, and close it up. And that actually, a back stitch is a very useful strong stitch. It's kind of the hand equivalent of a reverse action stitch, because we've done that, and you can do that by hand in the seam allowance. You can see here, that's what that will look, and that's a big, super strong. So that's it. That's all it takes to do a really nice little low stress zipper. Thank you.